What is going on, everybody?
Just a little.
So,
Look at me.
He has a special chair.
Because I'm special.
I don't think anybody's doubting that.
Yes.
Give a round of applause for special. No, you don't clap.
Oh.
Because we're applauding you.
You're supposed to.
Exactly. And see, the other thing is, how many times have we done this and now he's showing up in a uniform?
Hey, when the captain shows up, you show up in uniform.
I am the captain.
He's the captain.
We need to get FUBAR shirts? Is that what's going on?
I mean, we can get FUBAR shirts.
Yeah.
You invited the captain of the team. The team had to wear the shirt.
Freaking traitor.
I really feel like I should not be sitting in the middle.
Jealousy.
It was going to be me sitting in the middle, but I don't do well in the middle. No. Take that how you will. Sean doesn't. Sean does not sit in the middle.
Sean does not like to share.
No. No.
Well, no, I'm really not wanting to sit in the middle.
It's like, there you go. See. So what he did was he was first 2 days in a row. So I said, "You want a cookie?"
Yes, you did.
And I said, last time I checked, we don't have a show on Thursday. And I was first, last, and last. Well, he's already hitting the soft.
Cookies will kill my diabetes.
Will they kill your diabetes? Because that sounds like that'd be a good thing.
Got your back.
I mean, heck, if you killed your diabetes, I mean, that's a good thing.
That's a very good
way, bro.
So, as you can tell, and for those of you that can do math, because I don't see Timmy Turbo in here yet, so people can do math. So, we do have a third person. The third person, who is, that person here, is the one and only Thomas Miller. And for those of you that don't know who Thomas Miller is, he's going to tell you. Because
there's nothing on the keyboard, man.
I'm reading the keyboard.
Put your head up, dude. Speak to the people. It's okay. Don't be shy.
What if people are here?
Don't be shy. I know you're hurt that you don't have a cool uniform, but it's okay.
Take your uniform. I have a better uniform. It just don't fit no more.
Do you?
Yes. It comes with a cool little hat and everything.
Your uniform is in the past. Mine is in the present.
It is in the closet.
Yeah, but just like you don't fit anymore.
I do. It just doesn't fit well. There's a difference.
Okay.
It's just snug.
I'm still on the team. You're off your team.
I'm always on the team.
But you didn't make the never mind.
He's aware he didn't make
I know I didn't make the team.
He couldn't.
I know this.
He couldn't even cut it after you cut people out.
And I know.
And we gave him a 25-point.
I would have. Adjustment. I'm just saying that I wouldn't have marked down the stop, drop, and roll. I would have actually marked it down. I mean, I wouldn't have said, "Hey, I'm going to put myself out with a fire extinguisher."
Again, it didn't say you were on fire, bro.
Because I wouldn't have overthought it.
I'm going to continue to make that statement, and it's a factual statement.
I wouldn't have overthought it. But anyway,
that's okay.
This is Thomas Miller, and
yes, it is.
Thomas has been at Prime for a very long time.
How long?
Go ahead.
23 years.
Holy hell!
I'm only 34. Wow.
So that means I started when you were 11.
You can do math.
I can.
I can't.
As long as it stays.
Fingers and toes. If we get past that, we're like, whoa.
It's got to stay simple.
But so we have someone who you would really consider a veteran, a old person in the trucking industry.
I know he was.
Veteran sounded cool.
It's the old dude.
It's the guy that's been here forever. So
just out of curiosity, the 23 years here, or 23 years trucking?
23 years here.
How many years trucking?
28.
Where were you before here?
Farm Fresh Dairies out of Chandler, Oklahoma, and then Miller Truck Lines out of Stroud, Oklahoma.
Oh, that makes sense. Miller Truck Lines.
I tried. Nobody bought it. Nobody bought it. I tried. I tried. You
He
know,
really tried to
every
give his foot in the
customer I
door.
went to, man, I was like, pow.
I
we
get
don't
it.
we don't care. So it didn't work. But no, I spent my first 5 years delivering milk and dairy products to grocery stores all over Oklahoma, and then that gig just kind of changed. They were bought out, and I went to Miller Truck Shines and was there for about 3 months. My father-in-law drove a Prime, and after about 3 months, he had me bring 3 of my paycheck stubs, and he compared it to 3 of his settlements with like miles, and I applied to Prime about 3 days later. So
What took 3 days?
it was on a Friday.
Uh,
I had to wait for Monday to roll around.
So, like, in
We didn't have 24/7 recruiting then, so
Miller Trucking is still around too.
Yes.
Yeah.
it's a great company. They're really good people over there. I didn't have anything against them. I just saw the opportunity was better here.
Well, obviously, you wouldn't have anything against them, but I'm pretty sure them don't work there no more
Probably
because
not.
that's a long time ago.
Probably not. I mean, my fleet manager looked like he was about 90 then, so
Like,
I'm guessing he's not there anymore.
he's probably not there. If he is, like, good on you, dude.
Great guy, though. Great guy.
So, like, this is going to be kind of a, he's going to kind of give his story. So, what I would ask is really what got you into trucking and how, like, you've seen trucking, like, what have you done in the industry? Condensed.
Hi, Bethany.
Hi, Beth.
Hi, Beth. When I first started driving, what got me into it, my dad was a driver. He drove for 32 years. My father-in-law drove for 35 years, and then I have a lot of other extended family that has been in the industry in and out. And it just kind of flowed into it. Never had any intention whatsoever being over the road. Whenever I went to work Farm Fresh, I loved it. You know, I was a night crawler,
Right.
you know, and I was home every single day, and I was able to pick my kids up from school, and then just the opportunities and the money,
Okay.
will change your mind, and it did. So
I can see you going through a lot of different trucks in that time too. So I mean, you're talking like,
Ooh, yeah, the evolution of trucks.
yeah. So I mean, I would assume that you
Wow.
probably came in whenever we were primarily cab overs.
I had no. I was a little later than that.
Okay.
My first one here was an FLD 120 Freightliner.
What about with Miller and them? Like, where's it?
Miller, I had a Freightliner Classic.
Okay.
And then with Farm Fresh, we had just got out of the cab overs right before I started work there.
Ooh.
We had the first set of day cab T600s at Kenworth built.
Oh,
we
wow.
had the original anteaters,
Oh, wow.
and so it's been a fat minute on those.
Hmm.
But trucks have definitely came a long way, even since I've been here at Prime. Like I said, started out with an FLD 120. Absolutely not a single thing aerodynamic about that. I mean,
No.
it was a
It was a
rolling brick, and the grill was about the size of our hoods now.
Yeah.
So, and then of course, we went through the Centuries and I can't remember what that other one was with the Freightliner built. Same time they were doing the
Oh,
Century.
the Columbias?
Yeah, Columbia.
Yeah.
Had a handful of those, and then we started getting really aerodynamic. We go come in with the Cascadias. I know the first generation of Cascadia, pretty much everybody looked at it like, what
The hell
is this?
Yeah.
And we had some Max. I had one of Prime's Max.
Really?
that we
Prime
had.
had Max. I did not know.
I had it for
Prime
about
had
3 months and turned it in and got a good truck. No offense, Mac. You built a much better truck, but those, that was rough. It was rough.
That might explain like why we haven't gone with Mac again. 'Cause Mac really redid their stuff now. Now they have
The ones that we had was whenever they very first came out with the Mac Vision.
okay.
Their first aerodynamic truck,
Okay.
and just didn't quite live up to what we were hoping for.
Hmm.
That's a really good way to put it. And
It didn't live
and
up to
so-
our expectations.
yeah, just didn't quite meet what we needed, and
I still
then
don't think they would.
right after that, I moved into once again a test fleet of trucks.
Mhm.
I had one of the first 50 Peterbilts that Prime got,
Okay.
and good times on that one. They actually came with cats in them, and
Ooh.
and it was a dream, and
That thing pulled like a son of a gun.
And I'm not gonna lie, I'm very partial now. If I fell in love with that truck, and I've been in Peterbilt ever since, other than the one time that I got a T680 from Kenworth when we had those.
See the
I had that.
T680. I've seen the 579s, even the 579 Ultraloft are great. But I've driven a T680 from when I was at Freimler.
Mhm.
I love the layout of the T680.
Yes.
It's a lot more open.
Yes, they are very nice. The interior of the 680s is very, very nice.
Yeah.
and it was a good truck. Just once we did that, Prime had decided, of course, not to go with Kenworth for a little bit, and I went back to Peterbilt and been with them since.
And see, I see there's some guys that are here at Prime now that are owner operators. I see have gone out and bought the new T680 and coming in. So hopefully, maybe like we might, Robert, bring it back.
I heard they were like in negotiations with them.
They have talked to them. One of the problems that they had, I know on this year anyway, was Kenworth had a very small window of opportunity for us to be able to order trucks.
Right.
And unfortunately, we just couldn't get into that window.
Right.
And pull the trigger because they were building a lot of trucks this year.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, their build schedule was knocked way down because of COVID, and,
Of course.
and they're still rebounding.
Well,
from
I mean,
it.
heck, all the whole industry is. I mean, heck, even Freightliner is still trying to rebound,
Yeah.
trying to get back up to their numbers wise. I mean, that can't be really good for the quality of truck that gets put out because really you're throwing everything together trying to
I
do it
feel like
real
that's
quick.
what Freightliner did though. Was like they were like, you know what, we'll just warranty everything because they've delivered more trucks than anybody else.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I believe they're just like, you know what,
Well,
like, we'll
Freight-
make good on the delivery, and then
Freightliner too. They also have the capacity to be able to build more. I mean,
Right.
they've been the biggest OEM manufacturer for many years now.
True.
Yeah, I mean, they put the mass production of big trucks.
True.
You know, they were the first ones to build a plant that mimicked car manufacturing.
I kind of see them as the Honda of the trucking industry. I see what I mean by Honda, the trucking industry. I see them as they're all the parts, like they're fairly easy to find. There's not a whole lot of fanciness to them, but they're put together. You have some luxuries on them, but obviously you don't have near the luxuries of what you would have on a Peterbilt or a Kenworth or something to that effect.
does
But
Peterbilt actually have luxuries?
Peterbilt, yeah,
What?
their platinum editions,
We're
like,
classy.
oh, good God, yes.
You'll put a screen on the thing and
Can't you read the advertisement? It says class pays. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
look, I had a Pete, man, and that thing was not as that thing was so
Well, you
generic.
got to remember though, today's P thing, you know, they're not like your daddy's P. I mean, you know,
Well, it wasn't my dad's Pete, it was a 2009, bro.
Hold on. Wasn't yours a freaking lightweight?
My first one, yes, but when I made the switch to flatbed, they gave me a full size one.
Was it the
It was a 2009. My lightweight Pete for reefer was a 2010. It was actually newer. I actually like that thing. Were you here when we had those? People
obviously he
cry
was. He's
about-
been here for the last 23 years.
Do you remember those? How about that?
yes.
Bro, the amount of times I
Yes,
got tired of people.
every time I saw one, I'm like,
The amount
no,
of
sir.
times that people came up to me at the fuel stops and was like, "Somebody stole your fuel tank, bro." So, and then dear Prime, if you ever take him off again, please take off the passenger side, not the driver's side. You know what I mean? Like, because that was the biggest thing. You had to take it off the hook to go over
Did
to
you
the
have
other
one on that
side.
had the DF tank on the passenger side as well?
No, this was before DF was put on.
Okay.
You know what? This was smart on Prime's part. Think about it. You want to make it into a lightweight truck, right?
Yeah.
The fattest part of that whole truck is sitting in the driver's seat.
So you put the fuel tank on
On the other side, you
gotta balance it
compensate.
out, man.
First of all, fuck you for calling me fat.
Oh, hold on.
And then all your extra stuff is on the passenger side because they took out your seat. They took out everything else. That was the word. And that was before they were
Okay.
giving you 5 cents
That was-
extra to be in it, people.
That one there would be my wife and her BFF. They're probably poolside drinking wine right now. So,
Hi, wife and BFF.
Yeah. Why?
and Tish says, dude, that was harsh.
I say, what color was Justin? What color was your what color was it?
What's your uniform?
It's the
this thing
same
right here,
color.
bro.
I
I was on the sport. I was on the team. Remember that team that Sean didn't make?
Listen here, fucker. Out. I say, well, I heard there's a lot of internationals available. International, we brought in a lot of internationals here lately, and I've been seeing a lot of like the newer because we were supposed to go away from them. Like,
Well, I think that there was, because Rush Truck Centers bought the local international,
right,
so it's no longer Summit.
right.
And I think that there was probably a little bit of a,
So our issue is more
Deal
so for
with that.
Summit as it was.
well, I wouldn't necessarily say that, but I think that whenever Rush bought it out, they probably came in and said, hey, Let's what can we do? What
Right.
can we do to keep
They
this?
probably
going?
work the deal.
Because I've heard that one of the reasons too, like why we haven't gone with Kenworth again, is because that there's a animosity, if you will, between us and Tri-County, whoever owns Kenworth,
Oh,
the dealership.
oh my gosh! Yeah,
It's not Tri-County, is it Tri-County?
MHC.
Okay.
No, that's
Oh no.
isn't it?
Okay.
It's not the Larson Group.
Okay, no. You got Tri-State
Yeah.
owns Volvo Mac,
Okay.
and then MHC owns Kenworth,
Okay. Maybe it's MHC.
and the Larson Group has Peterbilt.
Yeah, the MHC, maybe it might have been MHC's issues, but I know we also had issues with Tri-County, which was the Volvo dealership, right?
Well, that was back in the Mac days. We had some issues with service there,
Mhm.
and that was ultimately one of the things that ended up killing the Mac deal. And MHC, they're actually a great partner of Prime. They not only are the Kenworth dealer, but an overwhelming majority of the parts that Prime carries in their parts rooms are supplied to us through MHC.
Okay.
It's not just a Kenworth dealer. MHC is a huge parts supplier.
And you do see MHC trucks, like their pickups are here going through like often.
Yeah,
like,
if you ever go up to MHC and walk in there, when you walk into their main office area, it's like a huge parts room, and it's crossover parts like airbags, brake drum, brake pads, stuff like that you can use across all the OEMs. They're a major source. All of our windshield wiper blades and stuff like that we have down in our shop comes through MHC.
MHC,
Yes.
you would figure
A lot,
that if they have to transport, there should be a tunnel. It's not
right?
There should be a tunnel between us and
Just
them.
build a little tram down there.
Exactly. Shoot, that might work out
Just
pretty
like
well.
you should build like a big tube that they just ship.
I see that being very dangerous. You realize how heavy some of these parts are.
Hey,
You really want a brake drum coming at you about 80? Out of a
it's
tube?
in a tube, so it's going to end at the thing,
You hope.
and then you open it.
You hope.
So you're gonna be the first one to stay on the other side to make sure.
Absolutely,
I'll be right there.
With
just off to the side.
that's fine.
a camera, because this shit's gonna be funny.
I have faith in our
Coming
builders.
soon to you.
Coming soon, it's gonna be a blooper reel. Justin dies by brake drum.
No, I have faith in our builders.
Oh, I was wrong. It's not wine that they're drinking full side.
Oh, they're going.
It would appear they're into the vodka.
Oh, they're going full. They're going full gangster.
And Bethany says those are the ladies to be hanging out with.
Tim says someone stole your fuel tank.
Yeah, somebody stole it. I freaked out one time. I came back across like, holy, how did they do that? Dude's face was like, what? Like,
Those are the ladies to be hanging out with.
Right. They're poolside drinking vodka,
Justin wants to be a bowling pin.
and this
That's
is
a
why-
bowling shirt.
Hey, I didn't choose. I didn't pick the colors. Who does pick these?
not me, not this year.
Just saying, on a normal basis, who picks them?
It's a collaboration.
Of who? That was the question for him.
Usually I'm in on it. This year I was not. I can give you names if you like. I mean, I don't know if we want to. No.
You have influence over the person that does.
No, I didn't this year.
Mm.
This year I was completely out of the loop on that one.
Does his name rhyme with rave?
Huh? No. It rhymes with Dan.
Is it Dan?
No.
Does it rhyme with Dan or is it Dan?
It rhymes with Dan.
You have an ongoing beef with this individual.
I would choose camo.
But then nobody would see you.
That's the point. You gotta be sneaky.
Yeah, we gotta be known out there, though, man.
Then you should wear sequins.
So what is?
Where did that shirt come from? What did you have to do to get that shirt?
I had to beat Sean.
I don't want to care about this bullshit.
You said we had to segue into it. We're going to use this.
Y'all can fucking do your own goddamn shit.
Segue into it with his bowling shirt.
So what is the?
There's no segue in the bowling shirt. It's a fucking bowling shirt.
I don't feel like.
Well, no, we're going to use the bowling shirt to segue into the TDC. So how'd you get that shirt?
That's not where we were
I
going.
competed in your competition.
Oh, we're not.
In your competition.
Oh, we're not going there yet?
No, we weren't going there yet.
Okay.
You still had stuff that you had done. We got up to trucks and then we fell off.
Yeah, we did kind of on that one.
Tim's good for that.
Okay, so you wanted the abbreviated.
So yeah, you came to Prime.
Came to Prime. First year I was here, I got involved in the truck driving championships.
What divisions did you run while you were here?
I've only been in the reefer.
You've only been a reefer, so
Yes.
none of that skateboarding bullshit.
None of that
Here
skateboarding.
we go.
no
FBG
tanking,
bitches.
You know, I for the record, my hat's not on. So I take my hat off to the flatbed group because you guys do a job that I would never.
No. Don't coddle them.
Well, I'm
Because
not
that's a situation that's going to just fester.
I'm not going to coddle them. I'm just
That's
saying. I mean,
huge.
I'm not throwing a target.
We shouldn't
That's
throw tarps
not-
at all. You know why? Because Prime's a reefer company.
I'm not throwing tarps. I'm not strapping. I'm not chaining. I'm not doing none of that.
Pancake eating at Waffle House, ordering fish at a
Why does he
steakhouse.
keep bringing shit? Where's his pilot?
His hatred runs.
Yeah,
deep,
have you ever
bro.
seen the movie Lion King?
Call me Scar.
No, the original. You ever watch Lion King?
He was in the original.
No, you remember when Rafiki smacked the little punk in the head with the little thing? And he goes, why did you do that? And he goes, do not matter. It is in the past. Yeah, let it go, my friend. He ate a pancake at Waffle House. Damn.
Don't use my movies.
Anyway.
Anyway,
Now I need a thing to smash. Ooh.
don't touch that big ruler. That'll
That'll
hurt.
That would do it.
Don't worry about it, my friend.
So anyway, got involved in the truck driving championships. Did fairly well. It's been something that I've done good at, and I've been fortunate. I've been to state. I've competed in state 21 times.
What is the truck driving championship?
Truck driving championships?
Something Sean can't win.
Don't fucking care.
It is a closed course skills driving competition. It's a safety event. And,
There's nothing safe about what we do. In
you
that
know, and
competition.
you have 6 course problems that you have to drive around. You have to do a timed pre-trip inspection, which
some of us suck at.
Justin did okay, and
Don't lie to these people.
and then you have a written test that you have to do.
How do you
And,
do on that?
and,
Don't lie to those people.
and, you know, he took the test.
You
And,
took the test. It's a good thing you get points for spelling your name right.
you know, he does know that when you're on fire, you're supposed to stop, drop, and roll
Now he does.
Now,
with a fire extinguisher.
With a
apparently.
fire extinguisher. The whole other fire extinguisher.
You don't roll real well with it, but like how it works. But that, you know, that's the essence of it. You know, and Prime has their own TDC every year, which is actually coming up September 2nd.
Yep.
This year, and in Springfield, Missouri. So any Prime drivers watching this now or later, most definitely be there.
Are we going to start
Get
doing
to go get
stuff?
this guy and this guy.
Are we going to start doing stuff like, say, like Piston, or is it always just going to have to be in Springfield?
As of right now,
Mm-hmm.
it will remain a Springfield thing, and the reason why is because the state that we compete in is Missouri.
Okay.
It's a Missouri Trucking Association deal, and that's the only association that we actually belong to.
Okay.
So that's primarily why it's here. You know, in the future, you know, who knows what it holds, but I would love to see it in every state, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
So who beats us every year?
Huh?
Who beats us every year?
It's a variety. I mean, honestly, you know,
ourselves.
Are we talking about for the team trophy?
Yeah.
We beat
You know,
ourselves.
we literally have been beaten by most trucking companies. I'm not going to lie. I mean, we went hard head to head against it for CFI.
Prime
They
8,
beat us.
driven by the
FedEx is a very tough company to beat because they flood the TDCs.
Right.
I mean, we show up with 15, they show up with 45. You know,
We come and
tough.
know.
It's tough. You know, you got your UPSs and your Walmarts, which
Right.
these are companies that have historically, you know, competed in almost every single state, and they go into numbers. Like for instance, this year Nationals is coming up here in a couple of weeks, and
Let's go, Scott.
FedEx between FedEx and FedEx Ground, I do believe they're sending something like 150 drivers to Nationals, you know, from around the country.
Hey, hold on.
What's it say?
Even Swift beats us?
Yeah, negative Ghost Rider. They don't even
I don't think they're allowed.
They don't even compete in Missouri, so you know, yeah. The only time we see them is nationals, and well, we just don't see them there.
Scott will.
No, he really won't.
Oh, look at it. So Bethany goes, hey, Spot Bed.
There it is.
Here comes Mr. Waffles. Yep. Hold on, wait.
So the power.
If Justin gets seen, you know, without his seatbelt on,
I don't want to talk about Tim. You always got. I need to hit Tim in the head. Let this thing be passed, my friend.
Power Rangers. That's what I'm talking about. So down here, yeah, Oh, that's a good one.
Well, we really didn't need to go all there. I mean, it's not like I'm old. I'm just
No.
smart.
I'm proof that it's not old.
So there we go.
So you have your state truck driving
Yeah.
championships,
Sorry.
and your first place winners from state and all the different classes gets to move on to nationals. And this year we're sending 2 drivers to nationals. Dwayne Grimm will be going in the tank class.
Let's go, Dwayne.
And Scott Fisher will be going back in the flatbed class.
Let's go, Scotty boy.
This will be Scott's 3rd time, I believe, in nationals. Yeah, this is his 3rd time in nationals. And the fun thing about Scott is he's only competed 3 times. Scott has won at first and went to nationals every time he's competed so far. So he's got like this whole perfect record thing going on. So that's one of the many reasons why we hate him. I mean, love him. And then Dwayne, this is his. I believe this is either his 4th or I think it's his 5th trip to nationals.
Damn.
And Dwayne actually started competing a year after I did, so he's been doing it for 22 years now.
What do you get if you take first at nationals? Other than a big trophy that says nationals.
You get this big old honking trophy, and of course you get the right to be able to say, "Ta-da! Look at me! I'm it for a year." And then there is a cash prize too. I'm not sure what it is.
He's never won,
but there is.
He's never won.
I ain't never won it.
He's never won.
I've been 3 times, but but yeah, that's been my career of it. I've competed at state 21 times. I've been involved in it for 23 years. I volunteered for a couple of years, and then I've been to nationals 3 times. I've competed at Primes TDCs for 23 years, and been to various charity TDCs that goes on around the country. So actually, this coming up picnic in September will actually be the 50th TDC that I've driven in.
Damn.
So
I've looked at it. And this has been said a few times that you start to see, especially even with Prime's team, is a lot of quote unquote old heads that are in there.
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of younger drivers that are going to compete. What's the reason why you think that? And what would you do to try to get some of the younger class
Unfortunately, I think it's a lot of them that's just kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing well enough to do that yet. And that's so far from the truth. I've literally just had my hind end handed to me by a kid that, we all did this year.
Yeah.
There's a guy that was this year, back in April when we Prime did a TDC, the guy that came in was a 2nd or 3rd. Third. Guy came in 3rd place, and he'd only been driving a truck for 8 weeks.
To be good,
so
he would have
like,
come in 4th if someone would have worn their seatbelt.
Then that would have came in 3rd. That would have been weird. Oh, that guy would have came in 4th.
Well, let's not talk about that because I came in 4th. I don't want to get bumped. Leave that alone.
So you would have gone 5th.
Yeah. So
I would have been +2.
We're just going to leave that alone. But
There's
yeah,
a lot
I
of people throwing out that replaced you that didn't make the top 10 either. So don't worry about it.
yeah. So he came in. He'd only been driving for 8 weeks. And he beat somebody like me that's been doing TDCs for 23 years.
Yeah, the thing is, I look at it. If you go to the truck driving championships, what you have to do you got to do like the closed course kind of thing. What you have to do to get qualified for it.
Correct.
It's almost like the opposite of what we're always taught to do.
It's
There's nothing safe about our safety.
It's exactly the opposite. Every truck driver from Moses on has been taught when you're out down the road, stay away from things.
Exactly. Get
away from it. The further out you are, the less you got to worry about hitting it. At truck driving championship is exactly the opposite. It's get as close as you can to it without hitting. You're wanting to get within 6 inches of all these course problems without hitting anything.
Oh, it's not like this, and obviously this is just from a third person's perspective. Why don't they just make the course a lot smaller?
They do.
Meaning they make the course so small that you just have to get around the obstacle, not necessarily have to get so close to it.
I give you. Okay, they do. Okay. Prime truck driving championships. They'll take up the lower half of the training pad.
Of course.
They take up 3 different pads out there, concession stands. You can stop and get a Starbucks on your way around the course. They take up so much room. Tons of room.
Right.
Well, then you turn around and you come in for a week's worth of practice with us before you go to state. Well,
right.
We condense it down to 2 of the training pads.
Right.
And I don't know if he knew it or not. I do. The dimensions that we actually set our courses up to practice with is the exact same dimensions of the course layout is going to be at state.
Which makes sense.
And the reason why is because at state, it's inside of a convention center in Branson. Now, the reason why it gets even smaller is because we have it inside the same boundaries,
right?
The dimensions, But you got all this land that you get to see out there. You're like, oh, hey, you
Right,
know what?
yeah.
If I tap that cone, it's no big deal. Great. Well, it's state
You're not
drunk driving
tapping it.
championship. If you tap that cone, you just tap the wall.
You hit the wall.
Okay.
Right on the other side.
Yeah.
There's no space.
So I mean, you watch your course be this to this to what the is this,
Mhm.
and then at nationals, it's even worse because now you're going and you're driving inside of a convention center as well, but they're running 2 courses side by side.
Oh,
So
That's why Swift's
so it's
not
even
there.
it's even a little bit more, and it's like and there you've got a crowd of 1,000 people sitting in the stands watching every movie made.
that's why Swift's not there.
So it's it's a lot of fun. Truck driving championships led me into a lot of other cool stuff. I've been fortunate enough to be on America's Road Team for almost.
What
5
is the
years now.
America's Road Team?
What is that?
I just asked it.
I point like that.
Shut up! You said you wanted the
Shut up,
the
bowling
short
pin.
version. America's Road Team is a program that's sponsored by the American Trucking Association.
Don't worry about it. It's in the past.
And yeah, there it is. No,
There it is.
every 2 years they select 15 new members. Out, they take anywhere from 3,000 to 6,000 applicants, and they narrow it down. They choose 15 people, and you go out and you represent not only yourself but your company and the ATA and the industry as a whole. And we go and we talk to anything from lawmakers to we do interviews on the Weather Channel about safe winter driving tips, and we go and speak at trucking companies and different associations. And basically, it's a massive awareness program for the trucking industry.
Okay.
Um,
How do you
for-
apply for it?
huh?
How do you apply for it?
You actually get nominated,
Okay.
and that is like quite literally. I don't know what your religion is, but it's up to the gods. It's not an easy thing. I had let everybody know that I was interested in doing the America's Road Team for 15 years before I got nominated.
Oh.
So it's a process.
Well, in the name
It's-
of
it's a
Freightliner, Peterbilt, Kenworth, and Mac.
So, hey, Mac just happens to be a sponsor of Share the Road program through the America's Road Team. But
That's a question. on
yay,
the
Mac,
test.
yay, Volvo. Volvo is the sole sponsor of the America's Road Team.
A non-American
Another question on the
company.
test.
being-
And shout out to TA Petro. They actually furnish us with all of our fuel for our show trucks that we travel around in.
Is that on the freaking test too?
Yeah,
No, that wasn't on the test.
no, but the Volvo being the sponsor is.
Yes.
So, but it's a great program, and it's been a thrill to be on it. I was lucky enough to have been the first prime driver to make it to America's Road Team, and since then we followed it up with Dee Sova. She's been in the road team as well, and Jesse Dennis was a finalist 1 year. So it's fun, and I recommend everybody, if you ever get a chance to do it, to absolutely jump on that train because it was a blast.
Oh yeah, I would definitely.
The whole highlight of the whole thing though is I'm definitely not going to get political on you guys' thing and stuff like that. But whenever President Trump invited the truckers to the White House, that was road team captains in our show trucks. It was on the South Lawn. And so that was very cool.
That was in a Mac too, wasn't it?
One was a Mac, one was a Volvo. Yeah.
The one he got into, I thought was a
The
Mac,
one
right?
he got into was a Mac, yes.
Yeah. the one-
Yes, he actually got in there with a good friend of mine. Unfortunately, we lost him last year, John Lex.
Oh man.
But John Lex was the guy that was in the truck with him, and that was just a thrill of a minute. I mean, he actually, for a charity event that we do for childhood cancer with the truck driving championship, John had gotten a $20 bill autographed by Trump, and it was auctioned off and raised tons of money for it. And it was pretty cool.
Imagine like if that was his normal, like the truck that he normally rode with. The president goes in there, goes to look back into the bunk. Sir, don't look back. Don't look back.
Don't go back. Don't
Don't look at it.
That has not been cleared by the Secret
It's like,
Service.
you don't want to look back there, Mr. President.
Them sheets are not up to your standard.
And since then, I've won a few awards here and there. I've had a very cool career. I've had a lot of fun. It's been a blast. It's definitely not over. I got another 10 or 15 years in me to go.
Oh,
And I've been lucky enough. I've won the Missouri Trucking Association Driver of the Year and the TCA North American Owner Operator of the Year.
who got it this year? Was it
Glenn Horton.
Area?
Yeah.
That was for the.
Glenn actually won both of them in the same year. Mine was split up. Mine was in 14 and 16, and he managed to pull it off in the same year. So that was really cool to watch.
Oh wow.
And that's
That's Glenn practice ground.
yeah, preacher Glenn,
Yeah.
preacher Glenn.
Yeah. Way to go, Preacher Glenn.
Yep, he
Still
he pulled it off twice.
He's still ticked off.
And
Stupid
Just
high
because he
pitch
hid the
preacher.
cocaine and you couldn't find it.
Yeah. Asshole. We all
And
know.
then, and then I'll go ahead and I guess I could go ahead and you breaking news. You want breaking news? Something that's not out there.
Sure, put breaking news. Breaking news.
Holy cow, we are
Breaking
important. Let's do
breaking
this.
news.
Breaking news.
Actually, I'm looking at your list here and stuff like that, and I do believe that my wife is on there now. That's the Miller 4252.
Okay.
So actually, I think that her and I are the only one that knows this right now. But and Mitch does. Mitch Coiner. I got an email.
Video making Mitch?
Yeah, video.
Video making Mitch.
I got an email about a week ago now, I think it was, and I'm a finalist for the TA Petros Citizen Driver of the Year.
What's
Hey!
So
Citizen
that's-
Driver.
I'm glad for something. I have no idea what it is.
Oh, cool.
It's they look at drivers and they look at your record and stuff like that, and they focus more on what you do with your community and stuff like that, community involvement and things you do with charities and stuff.
Congratulations, man.
And so we're keeping our fingers crossed on that one because that one's primarily for just what you do with your community. But you got to be a driver to do it, so it'll be fun.
I feed my neighbor's horses on occasion.
There you go.
Very helpful when he's gone.
Do you ride them too?
Soon.
The nice horses.
Finally got the YouTube open. There you go. Hey, like, comment, subscribe.
And then she goes, yo,
Yo,
like, comment,
Yeah,
surprise,
subscribe.
hit that little dinger thing. What was the other thing I was supposed to say?
like, comment, subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell.
Ring the bell. That was I said it too.
Ring
the
the like it, like it. Send like if you guys like all this, like, especially when it comes to this video, because we're putting out a lot of information that is definitely something that somebody's coming into the industry. This is even people that have been in the industry. This is information that I'm sure a lot of people really want to know. And when that kind of goes into this, and I think that this could more so be answered by Mr. Thomas here. What is your guys' opinion on OOIDA?
I don't have one.
Why?
This guy though.
Well, I got all kinds of opinions.
I mean, I think that's crossing over into the political side too, isn't it?
I can keep it unpolitical.
No, just let it go.
Just let it go. Yo.
Let it
Hey,
go.
like, what's your opinion of them?
Yeah.
OIDA, in my opinion, and it's
It sounds like a really bad stripper name.
my opinion is actually very well known. OIDA at one point in time was a good organization.
Mhm.
They stood up for the owner operators in the country very well. Since then, with some management changes and stuff over there and things, they're less than stellar in my opinion at this point now. I know Todd Spencer, their current president, whenever he was vice president, he and I got into a couple of disputes at a couple of different events, and then it ended up trickling over into whenever we went to the White House. Of course, OIDA went out with this whole hashtag meet real truckers. He was calling us not real truckers because we were America's Road Team captains up there, and in Todd Spencer's eyes, America's Road Team captain drivers that are there representing the ATA aren't real drivers. And so I pretty much went on a Twitter war with him, and I consider it a victory because I was blocked and banned not only by Todd Spencer on Twitter and Facebook and everything else you think of, but I was also blocked and everything by OIDA, by Landline Magazine, everything that has anything to do with OIDA. My name got triggered.
We're not.
So,
We're not banned. So maybe we might want to go to war.
Oh, hey, I'm going to say do your research because it's definitely out there.
I do feel like offended. Like,
Yeah, I feel offended
hashtag
too.
real truckers. What
Biggest,
was the point he was trying to get at?
and I've only
Do they have real truckers?
Apparently.
according to Todd Spencer, they're the only ones that do. One of the things that I got into with Todd Spencer about, now I'll go ahead and tell you now, it was over the entry-level driver training requirements, and this conversation took back in 2013.
Okay.
So that goes to show you how long it took for them to come out with these new requirements. And we were talking about them 9 years ago.
Good God, man.
And so I was in a room, and over here was Todd Spencer and OIDA, and all the owner operators, the people they represent on this side of the room was larger carriers such as, folks like Prime wasn't there, but folks like Prime and in your truck driving schools and stuff like that. These guys were saying, hey, we're doing what we can. These guys over here were saying, these guys over here don't know what they're doing. They're not training them good enough, and yada, yada, yada. It went back and forth. where Todd Spencer really got angry with me was he was over there trash talking all those companies, and it was my turn to speak. I was standing in front of Ann Farrow from the FMCSA, and I was trying to speak. He kept interrupting. Finally, I just turned around. I just looked at him. And I was like, Todd, just tell us all where exactly is the OWIDA Truck Driving Academy located?
Oh, drop the mic.
And he just looked at me, and I was like, I've been by Green Valley, Missouri many times. Y'all have plenty of room. If you don't like how these folks over here are training drivers,
do it yourself.
Why are you not doing it yourself?
This is a good thing. So like, go
example.
And
be the solution, not the problem. Be the solution, not the problem.
Yes.
You have problems, create solutions. Don't just.
It does no good to sit around and complain about somebody else whenever you could be doing it better.
True.
There it is.
Set the standard. Don't
Exactly.
I mean, a lot of politics this day, like that's what they do is they just sit there. They want to complain about everything, and it's like you are in the position to change it. Stupid.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
So that's my thought. And I got into a conversation with a member of OWIDA one time, and of course he knew I was with Prime, and I knew he was in OWIDA, and those two definitely don't see eye to eye. And he was like, "Well, why are you with Prime? They're screwing you over." And I'm like, well, thank you. I've only been there for 20 years and never realized that. I thank you so much for opening my eyes.
Enlightening me.
And so I asked him, and I was like, well, I got a question for you. As like, how do you feel paying yearly dues to a entity that does nothing but sue people and lose? I mean, my gosh, they've only sued Prime 5 times and they've never won.
The thing about it, though, too, is OIDA was also one of the people that was really one of the pushers for the fact that they didn't want to go to electronic logs because all their owner-operators were upset because they're going to lose money because their owner-operators were running with 3 flipping log books that they were upset they're going to lose money.
That's all.
4. They're upset they're going to lose money, but the money that what they had was illegal anyway.
Right. But see, I don't know about you, but like I feel like that's always been the stop with that. That's been the stop with the money. Like the shippers don't have to pay you more because they know you're going to run 4 logbooks.
Right.
Like when you refuse to run the 4, they're going to be forced to.
Man, let me tell you something. My truck was one of the very last trucks to have electronic logs installed in the Prime. I mean, I fought it tooth and nail. I stayed away from the terminal for almost 2 years just because I wanted nothing to do. I was like, no. I ran like the wind, and run boys. I mean, I was boogieing, and finally they drug me in. They got me in here and they put it in there. And I'm telling you right now, a week later, I never looked back.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the speeches that I had to give to get onto America's Road Team was over that very thing. It was all about electronic logs and what it had done and changed in my career. And I'm like, why on God's green earth would I ever want to go back to anything else?
Honestly, I think it made the industry safer.
It does.
I loved it. Like when I first came to Prime, was the year 2010, I guess, is when they first started doing it. So I was super scared because when I came in, like I did my orientation in Pittston before it is what it was. And
that explains the pancakes at Waffle House.
Yeah. I came out of I was a reefer driver coming out of there. Thank you very much. But
no, I know the reason.
I
know the reason behind the whole.
So many people were quitting. It had me nervous. Like, why did I come here? Like, this may not be good.
Yeah,
but then I realized it was over the log. Like the switch to e-logs, and Prime is the first place that I was on e-logs, and I was like, why do people hate this thing? Like, I don't have to remember the sick. Because, dude, there was nothing worse than like I'm too tired to do my logbook, and then wake up and be like, shit, what city am I in again?
Okay, Peg Leg says that makes sense. Thanks. And Timothy Turbo says besides the 8-week drive, he moved it on me. Driver from the rodeo. How many drivers really come out of school and can do everything perfect? Everybody has to start somewhere. Oh, don't get me wrong. I mean, that wasn't what I was referring to at all.
No, that one there was a fluke.
Yeah, I mean, he just, I was just using that as an example that it doesn't take somebody that's been driving 5, 10, 15, 20 years to do well at the truck driving championship.
So how long would how long would it take for you to figure to do like what kind of skill level? If you were
well, that's just it. I mean, it's all over the board. I mean, you've got that gentleman there that did it in 8 weeks, and I mean, a
lot of it is just like in my mind, like actually competing for the first time this year. Like a lot of it is pure luck.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, there's
definitely a small percentage of skill set.
The biggest majority of it isn't even the course problem itself; it's the setup going into it.
Right.
I mean, none of the problems themselves are super duper difficult.
No.
It's all about being able to visualize and look ahead and set yourself, because you got to remember, once you enter that first problem, you're set up for your second one. You're still in the first problem.
Right.
Whenever you're setting up for the second one.
So it's like you're thinking 2 steps ahead as opposed to, it's almost like what I tell my students whenever we're trying to do our alley dock or our 90-degree back. You want to aim where the trailer is going to be, not where it's at. If you aim where the trailer's at, it's just like aiming at a bird. You're guaranteed to miss.
Right, and that's why I was saying, I mean, it definitely had nothing to do with the guy's 8 weeks. I was just using him as an example that anybody with any length of service and stuff like that can come in and take it away from anybody else.
We've had PSDs compete. I know that.
Yeah. The only requirement is to hold the CDL.
Right.
And and like I said, I mean, this one coming up is the 50th one at home. I have been very fortunate and stuff like that, but I can tell you I got 15 trophies at home. So that means I'm less than a 25% winner, and I mean, well, no, I'm just saying, I mean, I've done very well, but 3/4 of the time I get beat.
Right.
So I mean, there's a lot of people that have beaten me easily.
Or your knee beats you.
Yeah, or my knee beats me, or it is what it is. But so the truck driving championships led into that, and the road team stuff, and then of course all of that has helped me kind of in my personal life, because I've watched this segue. So because in my personal life, it's opened doors for me to know a lot of people within the industry, and since that time, my family, we heavily support a group called the Sam Biggs Memorial Foundation.
All right.
And so,
good segue.
And I'm going to go ahead and segue backwards a little bit. Thank you so much. I'm going to use this as a shout out. Thank you so much to the 2022 Prime Truck Driving Championship team. These guys, they went down there, and over the course of a few days, things here, a little bit of auction, a little bit of raffle prize, stuff like that. They raised $680 for the Sam Biggs Memorial Foundation this year, over the TDCs. And that amount was actually matched by a company. So that in all, they ended up giving over $1,300 this year. So major thank you to those.
Very good.
Ben Walker, big shout out to Ben. Ben kind of spearheaded that whole thing and took care of it. So what's up?
No,
so anyway,
what's up, Burner?
So now go ahead and segue it. It's opened a lot of doors, and so we hold 2 charity events each year. It's a motorcycle show and poker run. And the sponsors of that is primarily doors that were opened up to me through the TDCs and the ATA and the road team. All the OEMs here in town, Peterbilt, Kenworth, Freightliner, all of them, they all sponsor us. Prime sponsor us. A lot of the drivers with their individual LLC sponsor us. And so it allows us to hold these events and pay for everything, so that come event day, every dime that's given to us that day goes straight to the foundation.
There you go.
And we started out, this is our 9th year. The first year, I think our donation was somewhere right around $1,200-$1,400, something like that, to the foundation. And last year, thrilled about this, but last year we was able to give them $14,000.
If you were wanting to donate to this foundation, is there a website that people can go to?
We do not have a website. It's a very small foundation. We do have Facebook. It's Sam Biggs Memorial Foundation, or you can look up Sam's Ride. That's actually the events that we put on the bike shows and stuff. And on there, we have our flyers for this year, and it has a Cash App and a Venmo QR code.
Oh, really?
That goes directly to me into an account that my wife and I have off to the side, that everything that goes into that account goes to the foundation.
Very cool.
And so they do want to donate, sponsor, anything else like that. Best thing you can do is September 10th at the American Legion Lodge 639 on South Scenic Avenue in Springfield, Missouri, starting at 9 a.m. And we go until we're done. It's usually around 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Lots of raffle prizes. Bama Man Barbecue is going to be out there.
Oh,
this guy's supposed to have some incredible pulled pork.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. But they're going to be out there. Honda, the Ozarks, is going to be out there. We got T-shirts and raffle prizes, and of course, American Legion is going to be serving up their food and drink all day long.
Oh yeah,
it's a great time. And then the following week in Bunker Hill, Illinois, on September 17th, we go back to where it actually all began, and that's where our very first ride was at. And we do the same thing. We have a sister event there, and it's Bunker Hill. It's a Sage House. That's really all you need to know is just Bunker Hill, Illinois. Because I promise you, if you go to Bunker Hill, Illinois, you're going to run into Sage House. We are a town of 1,800 people. So, I mean, once you get to the 4-way stop in town, you'll see us because that's where all the bikes will be.
What is the Sam Biggs Foundation? What does it
Sam-
go to?
Sam was my cousin.
Mhm.
He passed away right before his 7th birthday
Mhm.
from hepatoblastoma.
Mm.
And it's a very rare liver cancer.
Right.
And his mom and dad, they decided to start the foundation after he passed away to help out all the different entities that was helping them when he had cancer. Because, of
Okay.
course, whenever he got cancer, his mom had to quit her job,
Of course.
take him back and forth. Same scenario all parents go through.
Of course.
And so they received a lot of help.
Mm.
And so whenever Sam passed away, they started the foundation because they wanted to pay it forward.
Okay, very
And
cool.
and so they buy all kinds of gas cards for people to be able to buy gas to go back and forth to treatments. Tish is putting in her own plug. I'll get to you in just a second, Tish. I promise you. She's all like, he's forgetting me. And so they buy gas cards for folks to be able to buy gas back and forth. They purchase all kinds of and have annual toy drives because a lot of people don't know this. When a child has cancer, they can't take their toys from home to the hospital with them for the treatment.
Right.
So they do toy drives and stuff and donate literally thousands of dollars of toys to the cancer centers every year. And they help a group called Friends of Kids with Cancer, which is kind of a Missouri-based, kind of like a Make-A-Wish type thing,
Okay,
but it's Missouri-based. They take them to like Six Flags and Cardinals games and stuff like that.
very cool.
And they help them out. And then there's a research facility in, I'm going to screw this up, but I think in Oregon, that they actually specifically are doing research on the cancer that Sam had.
Oh, really?
And Sam, the cancer that he had, only one in like every 1 million children.
Oh, wow.
That's how rare it is.
Damn.
And so St. Jude's does wonderful work with children's cancer. We all know that. But they don't actually do research on that specific cancer because it's so rare.
Right.
They do most of their research on the leukemias and
Of
stuff
course,
like
the
that.
ones-
That
yeah.
they go after a big group of people.
Right, they have to.
And yeah, exactly. And so that research facility up there, they go right after that one. And so we were actually able to send them, I think, $7,500 this year for research.
Cool.
And so now that's back up there. Tish McGee and her husband Lee, they own Giddy and Glee, and it's a small handcrafted gift thing. I mean, they do all kinds of stuff.
Mhm.
It's all wood and stuff. Lee's got a laser machine and an engraver, and they make all kinds of things. And Tish and her daughters and her mom, they paint all kinds of stuff, and they are huge contributors of raffle prizes for us. They give us thousands of dollars worth of stuff every year and say, here, they make us custom clocks and lamps and everything else with Harley logos and Victory Motorcycles and Indian and just all kinds of really good. Go to Giddy and Glee on Facebook. You'll see what they do. And we give a lot of that stuff away at raffle prizes.
Oh, heck yeah. What I have to do is whenever I go to post this, actually, when it's done getting posted, and when I go in there to add some stuff in the description, we'll have to put some links in there and do what we can, reach out and everything like that.
And the best thing anybody could do for us is just come out to the event. I mean, I've had so many people that come, they don't even ride. They just come out, they see the bikes, and it's just a good time. And you stand around, and you talk, and just.
And do you ride anywhere, or do you just ride your bike there?
On the poker run, you do. They about halfway through the day, we do the bike show in the morning, and of course, everybody wants their bike to be clean at that point. So they clean up their bikes. We do the bike show. They get judged. As soon as the judging's over, we go out on a poker run, and they go around 2, 4, 5 different locations in Springfield and draw a poker card, and they're trying to build the best hand.
Oh snap! That sounds like fun.
And then
You don't have a motorcycle.
Well,
And I'm pretty sure you're not going to ever get one.
We're on the fence. Like definitely a scary moment. Like there's a lot of things that.
Well, you said your neighbors got horses, right?
Yeah.
Ride, baby, ride.
I'll have to talk to Zach.
Just as
If I can
showing
ride
up.
the horse, if I can, me Sheldon can make it over there.
But it's,
Come on,
like
Zach, let's do this.
like I say, it's a great time, and and I promise you, if you guys showed up, you're going to see people I mean, it's a family. Prime
We have
prime
to show up now.
prime folks are heavily involved in it. Like I said, all the trucking industry in Springfield has really stepped up, and thankfully, with my connections that I had, I was able to bring them in.
Very cool.
And it's just it grows every year. Like I said, we're out to American Legion. We had to move out there this year.
Okay.
We outgrew our last location.
Didn't you guys do one before? Like wasn't it in Joplin or something like that? Or I know you guys have done some kind of run.
Well, the truck driving, the Convoy of Hope is in Joplin.
Okay.
for Special Olympics.
Oh, it was for the Special Olympics one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the convoy.
Get on point here, bro. Like you're straying way off into a whole other.
Oh no,
I thought it was a run from like.
well, and that's the thing is because
Shut up.
once again, all this leads into a lot of stuff that I like to do, with charities and stuff. And like in March, me and my wife and my daughter, we went to Atlanta, Georgia for a truck driving championship to raise money for the Pediatric Brain Tumor Foundation. So another childhood cancer thing.
Right.
And it's just amazing all the stuff that you can get into real easy.
Oh yeah.
So,
But that is a long storied career, I would say. And obviously it's not over yet.
that was
And we haven't even touched on it, really.
That was the short version.
Yeah.
So, and even like when it comes to that, like where the trucking industry was and where it is now, where do you see it going?
That's tough. If you'd have told me 25 years ago that, all of our trucks would be so aerodynamic and we'd be getting 10, 11, 12 miles to a gallon. I mean, I started, we were praising the day when we got 4. And so, and I mean, it's like, oh, look, my truck's not smoking today. Great. But
4 1/4 cat was not getting
exactly, and so it's changed so much. It's hard to see where it's going. I mean, we have so many things that's up in the air. You have the California AB5 rule.
Correct.
That's impacting a lot of owner operators out there.
Mm-hmm.
We know that New Jersey and New York are looking at their own versions of it. We know that at the federal level, the House and Senate's looking at it's called the PRO Act, but it mirrors a lot of what's in the AB5.
What makes them think that is a good? Like, I have a lack of understanding of why they think this is a good thing. First of all, what is AB for our non-intelligent viewership? We have a lot of that.
AB5, what it boiled down to was it introduced a three-prong approach to decide whether or not you are truly an independent contractor or not. And one of the prongs in there that's causing most of the problem is that you have to be, as an independent contractor, you have to be performing a service that the company that you're doing it for does not perform themselves. So you take, for instance, any trucking company out there that has company trucks.
Right.
Anybody else that comes in there in California can't be an independent contractor because they're doing the same job as those company drivers already are. So they're automatically a company driver.
Would that
that's the big problem.
Would that exile like Landstar?
No,
not exile.
They would actually be okay because Landstar themselves don't have any trucks.
Right.
They don't provide the service. They're basically a brokerage service with some trailers that you can lease.
Wasn't there a leasing company? I thought there was a Landstar leasing.
There's a structure a lot different, so you're not actually leasing it from them and leasing it back onto them as a contract. It's set up differently. So
it's like their own
with that,
like pedigree,
right? And so with that going on, I mean, I think the future is unclear. I think we're going to be okay. I think somebody is going to see, hey, this isn't working. I mean, especially considering that the Port of Oakland's been shut down for almost a week right now because the owner operators parked their trucks in the driveway and said, surprise, it's not happening. So nothing's coming or going out of the Port of Oakland.
That's why I haven't gotten.
It's a good possibility, and and there's so many other ports out there in California that they weren't even getting caught up from the backlog from COVID yet, and now they're getting shut right back down again. Mm-hmm. So somebody's going to do something.
I think Prime and Schneider, and so I think that was a great opportunity for them to stand up and be like, well, if you're not going to let our people in and out of your state, then we're not going to come into your state at all with our company people. You know what I mean? Like,
I would love to be able to say
that. Even at that, like if Prime itself, and I don't know if this would work because I don't understand things, but if Prime itself was like, okay, our company people don't go into California, wouldn't that make it okay for our independent contractors to go in there?
Right. And I'm right there with you. I would love to be able to see them do that. Unfortunately, in the marketplace, the way it is,
but they can't move anything. Especially if Prime is like, yeah, we're not moving.
Well, the problem is quite honestly, the trucking industry is so cutthroat.
Right.
If Prime said we're not doing it today, well, I can guarantee you, Martin or Stevens or Hirschbach or somebody's gonna be like, "We'll do it."
This is something
we got you. And
it affects Martin just as much as it affects Prime. That's what I'm saying. Like, if the bigger companies would have stood up for the little guys, you know what I mean? Like, it was a great opportunity.
The thing is,
stand up for the little guys.
The thing is, though, is trucking company executives. most of them have been drivers before themselves, and we all know it's tough to find a room full of drivers that's going to agree on something.
Right.
And it's the same thing with these company executives too. I mean, it's tough to get them all to agree.
They're looking at this right now, and I guarantee you, looking at it right then and there. If they know that they have a bigger company like Prime that would say, "Hey, we're not going to haul your freight," now that other company can come in like, "Hey, we'll haul the freight and we'll haul it a little bit lower." Their go is going to drive the price down on the freight because they're not looking at it long term. They're looking at it as load count right now, but hey, like we're getting money coming in.
Right.
Now, Prime did step up though, to an extent. You know, I mean, all the independent contractors that we had in California at the time, you know, Mr. Lowe did step up and told them, it's like, hey, look, you know, this is the deal. We're not going to take contractors from California anymore because of this. And he offered to give them all, I can't remember what the amount was.
It was like close to 7,000.
Yeah, it was 5, 6, 7,000 like that, but offered them assistance and then moving out of California.
Yeah.
You know, so they could continue being an independent contractor if they wanted to. He didn't pressure anybody. You know,
It was just an offer.
Yeah, it was just an offer. It's like, hey, look, this is what we're not going to be able to do, but we do want to keep you. So if you're willing to move out, we're willing to help you.
As a matter of fact, I
You know.
believe Diaz actually was one of those.
Yeah,
one of
D
those
Silva
drivers.
was one of them. And so, you know, there was quite a few that did take them up on it.
Mm.
You know, that
Hey, I'm selling my address, folks.
and
Just let me know. Or me in the
You
comments.
said you got a big
somewhere to
backyard. We
live.
can park them back there.
There's gonna be like 8. Well, you can stay in Cali and just say that you live at my house.
That's
you
right.
know, but as far as like the status of autonomous trucks in our future,
That was the next question I was going to
yeah,
ask.
I'm not going to be around long enough to see it.
Well, no, the thing is the way that you've seen the truck, or you've seen progression the way that it has, and I think that when it comes to truck driving progression, it goes in little spurts, but for the long time, it goes very long and slow.
Yeah.
So you're looking at, I think that, do I see it eventually happening? I'm not, never say never when it comes to stuff like that. I look at it as we have autonomous cars. We're having issues with the autonomous cars right now. And the biggest argument that I have with most of these people when it comes to a fully automated or autonomous trucks, and that's all that's going to be on the road, is realizing how much infrastructure has to change in order to accommodate
we
the
can't
autonomous
even
trucks.
we can't even. I mean, you know,
And infrastructure is a big word, Justin, for roads.
Yeah.
Timothy Turbo. He made a pretty good comment there. And,
No, that's bullshit. Put it up there.
and-
I don't believe you. That's bullshit.
You know, and so with that said, you know, we have to.
Okay, I'll agree with you.
We don't have a federal government that's going after the infrastructure enough to simply repair the roads that we have,
Right.
let alone put in the infrastructure that's going to be required for autonomous trucks to be able to travel the entire country. My own personal belief is, as long as Tesla cars are still running into things, we're not going to have autonomous trucks. Yeah, I'm okay. We're building on the same technology. We don't want these trucks doing the same thing these cars are doing.
I see us having electric trucks and having electric trucks for a prolonged period before we get into autonomous. I see an autopilot function, but I'm not seeing including a full autonomous.
This is always my question to people, though, is that autonomous or the autopilot version, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? Like, it still needs the driver.
Mm.
So why am I paying $20,000 extra for a junk that can do something by itself when the driver still has to sit in the seat?
Right.
And I don't know about anybody else that is or trying to be a truck driver. Are you taking a pay cut? You know what I mean? Like, because the truck can drive itself?
I know.
Absolutely not. Because I'm still, the biggest part about our job is not so much the drive. Like, the driving is important. There's things that you got to do, blah, 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 blah. The hardest thing about truck driving, though, is being away from home. And I'm not sacrificing my pay. Like, the whole thing that made me leave home was the money. You know what I mean? Like, and now you're telling me you're going to cut my money because the truck can drive itself? Then cool, man, let it drive itself. Like,
I
but
see
the
two
infrastructure
things.
is the thing that's
But
going to
you're right on
safety.
the electric trucks.
I see safety, and the two things of what I would see it going that way, and I'm starting off with electric, is safety and emissions, because those are two big main political points that push a lot of these things that comes to safety, and especially everything when it involves with the EPA.
Well, I easily see us going to electric trucks, but I don't see it going wide scale. I see the electric trucks going in the same direction as the CNG trucks and stuff like that. It's going to be on the more local markets and stuff like that, where they can get back and plug in
Right.
and charge every night at their terminal or warehouse or whatever they're at. The over-the-road segment, I just don't see it happening anytime soon because it goes back to the same thing as the autonomous truck. We don't have the infrastructure, and I mean,
Did you
you know, we've all seen it. I mean, I don't know how long you guys been driving. Remember the old idle air days at the truck stop?
Yes, sir.
You know,
I was there for that.
Quite honestly, I mean, I hate to say this about truck drivers, but we couldn't keep them from tearing that shit down.
No.
You know, so how are we going to keep truck
Well,
drivers
the
from
thing was-
mowing over the electric car?
I watched that stuff.
No,
And the thing is, there's
I
one.
don't even know how you forgot that thing was in your window, bro. Like it was so big.
it's this huge yellow melon hanging from
And
the
you had-
sky.
and,
You know?
and you had to open it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so how did you and you had to pull into it. So it's
Right.
not like you could just drive straight out. Like you had to
Right.
pull
You know
into
what
it
I mean?
back out.
And every
So like, how did you just not look over here? Like,
and every night you see that damn thing swinging in the air, half torn off, and it's kind of like, okay, And so they hit the huge yellow melon hanging
Right.
from the heavens, and now we want them to miss this little desk-sized charging plug-in thing at the back of a parking spot. So they're going to back right over that stupid.
Oh yeah.
right.
Either that or what we're going to do. We're going to have trucks turn around, nosing into all these parking spots. Oh dear Lord!
All right.
Can you
see,
imagine
because-
6 a.m. then? You know?
and the
Because
way
that's the thing too, though, is that the charge takes too long.
well, the way that the one that I had seen and the one that they were trying to develop and what they had developed, the supercharger that they had for the trucks was supposed to be able to put the truck back to a full charge within 30 minutes. So it was that 30-minute break, and then
We can't get trucks to move off the fuel island in 30 minutes. You think there's no left to charger?
Yeah, I mean, I think
But you know, their original response was we would charge up the shippers and receivers. That was their original response.
So who's going to
Could
pay?
you
But who's going to pay for that?
right? Could you imagine
Yeah.
that?
I
And
mean,
they're going to jack the price on that on top.
I mean, I just don't see Costco going, "Ooh, pick me! I'll put in 100 chargers."
I
Right.
see,
I mean, who's going to pay for it?
I see this, and because of what we're having such a big issue right now with the petroleum and with the oil and everything like that, what's going on with the gas prices, you push more electric into it, you're going to do nothing but have to drive the oil prices down, because they're going to want to be able to try to get some of this, because they're going to lose people, especially if they tap into the truck driving. They're going to lose people, and then the petrol company is going to be like, hey, we need to get some of these guys back. Let's go ahead and lower it down the way we could be competitive.
Let's be realistic though. Like we can all agree Tesla is the largest car selling people right now.
Yes.
Right. What's the farthest their car can travel?
I got no idea.
Their truck was supposed
300
to.
miles is the farthest their car can go. Now a truck is going to be hauling even more. So their technology for a car is 300. Obviously, in a truck the battery can be bigger. But also, if you looked at their electric truck, there was no sleeper. So they haven't even. You haven't where you would put your sleeper is where their battery.
I just don't want to be driving an electric truck down the road and have to be the one that's being towed by the huge diesel tow truck. I'm sorry. I mean, it becomes a pride thing. Then you're just kind of like, shit. I don't want to do that now.
Let me tell you, man. Like, if you want to talk about horrible stories, there's a TA, holler, citizen. Let's go. You know what I mean? Like, but there's one right outside out of Memphis, and I ran out.
subtle.
At what point in time did you think you lost that award?
I was. We ran out of fuel right there because Prime was like, "No, you need to go to that one right there." Or it was a Petra. I don't remember which one. It was TA. And so we're sitting on the off ramp, and this kid comes up with his Dodge Ram, and was like, "Hey, what's wrong? Like, out of fuel. Want me to tow you down there?" Little Southern boy. Sure. Because we're loaded down with coils out of we're like 80,000 pounds. Like we're real close to it. Dude, there's nothing more sad than getting your truck pulled in by a fucking Dodge Cummins into the fuel island.
Okay, yeah, he does have it. I just gotta say
That
I-
motherfucker.
I mean,
Who was that
I'm-
to ruin this kid's little dream? You know what
I
I'm
mean,
like?
I'm going to admit freely, I'm a GM guy, man. So yeah, I mean, I don't know that I would let a friend of mine with a Dodge pull my pickup anywhere.
This wasn't my pickup, dude. This was
no,
my
I'm just
prime
saying, well,
truck.
that's what I'm saying. Even my
Me
pickup
being
truck,
the
I'm not like,
Dodge-
"Nah, I'm good."
Me being the Dodge guy, I would be blaring my horn as I pulled into the fuel outlet.
Which is why I would be letting the
I would not. Bro, that kid came out, took a picture. I put my head down. I'm like, oh God. I'm
So-
getting pulled in there. This kid's just. Now, in fairness, part of it was like once he kind of got us rolling, it was kind of downhill from there. You know what I mean? Like, but
He got you,
still, it's
but he got you the hill.
yeah, yeah.
So I mean, you know,
it was sad. Dude.
but like I said, I just don't want to be the guy in the electric truck behind the big huge diesel.
I mean, to be honest, I would be like, I don't see the. I don't see it coming anytime.
I don't either. Like I said, I see
infrastructure
it coming to like I said, the local markets.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I do see that, but as
Like
far as
running
over the
around
road, I
town
mean,
or something like that.
you know, and the thing is there's so much talk about the reason why we want to move away from diesel is because of cleaner energy and clean up the. But at the end of the day, whenever you go to look at the cost versus the efficiency, our diesel trucks are going to be around for quite some time.
Yeah,
I think they're going to continue to get cleaner, but they're going to be around for a while.
I don't doubt that. I see but I mean, I'm not saying these things are going to happen in leaps and bounds. I see first it being a hybrid. I see something to where that effect, where it is a half or diesel, half electric, like coasting down. It'll help to recharge the batteries, kind of deal. I see a hybrid.
I can see that.
Timothy Turbo says, "I think they'd be better out trying to run these trucks with Skittles and root beer."
I dig it.
This is why Tim. This
is why you have to assume
Hold
Tim
on.
never said anything logical.
Tim, this is probably one of the reasons why you have to keep applying to Prime, and they keep telling you no.
Yeah, this is hashtag Timothy Turbo in the front.
I tried to help you, Tim. I'm new.
Yeah, he's well connected, Tim.
I'm
we gonna make this move.
Before that,
we're gonna get you on the pad one day.
Before he said that, he said, "I don't think this electric car crap is going to fly." We're not supposed to fly. It's supposed to be on the ground. The West Coast might not have power here in a year or two if the Hoover Dam shuts down. We all need to quit blowing it up.
That's a valid point.
If we followed all the shows we watched as a child growing up,
right?
Man, we're supposed to be all up in the Jetsons world of flying cars by now, anyway.
I mean, heck,
because of the pollution, they're trying to stop us from getting.
Even if we
those are electric flying things.
Even if we went by the whole, Back to the Future rules, I mean, we need to have some type. I want my hoverboard and not the one with the wheels.
Not me.
That's not hovering.
Not me, but I do. I really would like a pair of those shoes. I just push a button, they lace up.
They do make those, but they honestly do make those. The Air Mags, those are about $30,000.
Are they made by Nike?
They're made by Nike.
Well, no, I'm good. When Under Armour comes out with theirs, let me know. Just saying.
They weren't in Back to the Future.
Well,
Those aren't Under Armour.
No, these are actually my work shoes. These are my Skechers. these are straight up work shoes.
You gotta put on the Skechers when you're doing sketchy shit.
But I will say this: like the Air Mags, when they brought out the Air Mags, it's like those things are $30,000, but they do have the auto.
Did anybody buy them?
Yes.
Somebody actually paid $30,000 for a pair of shoes.
There's quite a few people that actually bought them.
Wrong damn business.
Bro, if you check out the shoe game, like it is ridiculous how much people pay for shoes.
The thing is also
ridiculous.
Even there's a couple different pairs of Nikes that have the auto laces that aren't the Air Mags, but they have the auto laces. So I mean, this is something.
I'd just be happy to have a damn DeLorean. I'm not gonna lie. A piece of crap, but I just take the DeLorean.
That's another fail.
Take me back in time.
That's another failed thing when it came to DeLorean. It's like that could have been so much better if you'd have put a better engine in it. That thing was so underpowered, it was ridiculous.
I didn't know where we're going there.
I like what he said though. Like I've always found that funny with cars too, though. Like they want to make everything electric, and they can't even run your AC in the summer without a blackout. Like, what are you going to do? Like you have a lot of things to solve.
We have major infrastructure problems that need to be addressed before any. I can tell you. I mean, I'm getting ready to turn 52. Which means I've got about 13 years left of driving. Everything that we've talked about, none of it's going to be mainstream by the time I retire.
Right.
It's just not.
Right.
So I mean,
I don't even think by the time I retire.
How far down the road after that, who knows? But I know that through the rest of my career, it's not going to happen.
I keep waiting for a case of water to fall out of the sky with them talking about using drones to deliver packages.
Look, man, like if they ever get drones to deliver packages, that will never last.
Someone's gonna have.
That's like a criminal's fantasy, bro. Like I can just shoot drones out of the sky and get shit. Like this is ridiculous.
I played Nintendo. This is preparing me for it. I played Duck Hunt.
Right. Now it's package hunt.
So I mean that's I can see during certain things like to be delivered, but anything that's valuable, it's like if I saw a big drone that said Amazon on the side of it,
that thing is coming down.
Yeah, this is like.
Like that's like a criminal. You mean to tell me there's not an individual person?
And me being a driver for Prime, I feel that it is my duty to shoot down at
And
Amazon.
and the thing is
Hey, we
knowing,
settled, bro.
Oh, we're
well,
settled.
and knowing
We're not mad at them no more.
and knowing that you two are going to be shooting these things down, I feel very compelled to start ordering tannerite.
Give us one of those blow up. Let us.
I'm
do it.
using a slingshot, man. I'm not allowed to touch guns. What I'm saying.
Because just once I want to be sitting back and he blows up my tannerite and literally loses it, sitting there going, "What just happened?"
Well, like there was a this kind of goes. There was a YouTube or not YouTube, but a TikTok that this dude where he stole the package off of that Marine guy's porch.
Oh, and he blew it up or whatever.
Or he had it set up to where as soon as he pulled off, it basically like as a shotgun shell
Right.
and tripped the dude. The dude pooped on himself and
Yeah.
just kind of just like
You got a commenter.
oh,
Yeah,
Gonzalez. John said, "What's up, fellas? Just passed all four tests.
Hey.
Oh yeah, got my commercial driver's permit here in Bakersfield, California. Congratulations, man. That's what I'm talking about.
Are you coming to Prime? Unlike Tim.
It's out of California. We don't.
I'm gonna go ahead and say this right now. So now that you got your permit, go ahead and get your CDL, and the next first load you need to haul is your personal belongings out of California, and then come to work at Prime.
Coming from
But he
somebody,
can- he
yeah.
can-
I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it.
He can
I
work for
moved
Prime
out of
as a company
California,
driver.
and now my all my mom's moving out of California, my grandparents moving out of California. Everybody's leaving that sucker. So I mean, who's that? It's basically whoever's like,
Timothy sets off fun and games, and somebody gets a high shout out.
or
Tannerite,
That's why
baby.
we liked him.
Tannerite.
it's either that or someone shoots Peg Leg's other leg off. We try to help Peg Leg so many times, like to make it a better story on how he lost his leg.
Yeah. There's so many good.
Y'all just remember, I'm just a guest here tonight.
We don't play.
But hey, John, congratulations, man. It's a really
That's
big
very
step.
cool. That's cool.
That's an awesome deal.
Now, you could drive for Prime as a company driver.
Yes.
Correct.
Which you would be trained out of Salt Lake.
Tell me
Yeah,
what it is.
Don't go to Springfield.
yeah.
But hold on. And Jeffrey Huff says going to be in Springfield for orientation on the 15th. Awesome,
Very
dude. Congratulations. Welcome
Sean will be
in
there, too.
advance. What?
Sean will be there too.
Probably. I mean, it's more than likely. Same thing with him.
He doesn't go anywhere.
Peg Leg
August
lost his
15th.
leg in a poker game.
That's a hell of a game.
Now he was all in. He was all in. But man, you got to go all in on it. You can't go all in on an ace like on a 2-6 out of suit,
You
man.
gotta be careful how you bet that 2 pair. Just saying. You
I
lose.
told y'all it was stolen. I told y'all it was stolen. I found it. I found it this morning. So I always think of like crap, what's the name of that band? One from out in Boston. They're shipping up to Boston. Dropkick Murphys.
Would it be Boston?
No, it's like I'm a sailor Peg and I lost my leg. Climbing up the top sails, I lost my leg.
Got me, bro.
You're from there, so
That
on
doesn't
that
mean
side.
shit. I was really drunk and high.
But so that's
Being from up there doesn't mean anything.
a long. So going back to with Thomas and everything, that's a long storied career, and that's a lot of cool stuff that's happened, a lot of cool stuff that's going to be happening with you. And I mean, that's definitely something of what a lot of people can really aspire to.
And the thing is, and I always want to make sure I tell people that whenever they hear my story, is that none of what we've talked about tonight or anything else like that is me bragging or thumping my own chest or anything else like that. I very much so recognize that I have been very fortunate, very lucky. I've had a career that I'm incredibly proud of, and all the things that I've been able to do. And I'm more than grateful for everybody that's ever helped me along the way, from Prime, Farm Fresh. I mean, that's where I got my start, and everything else. But most importantly is my family. My wife, she's actually watching right now. I'm not sure, my daughter may be as well, but one of my daughters. But I mean, my family, they supported me in all this stuff, and America's Road Team took a lot of time away from home.
Right.
A lot of my home time that I would normally have, I was out doing events and gigs with them, and they fully supported everything. Prime, as a company, I could not have asked for a better support system there, and it's just been a great time. Like I said, it's not to brag, it's to let everybody know what the possibilities are. You know, I mean, you can do everything that I've done. You can do bits and pieces of it, whatever you want to do. You know, it's your career to make, but it can be one hell of a great career.
I would ask this, and if you had to tell someone that's coming brand new into the industry, what are some
Don't do
it. Don't do it. Kind of words I would say, like
Oops, I just went against what I said.
like kind of almost like a words of encouragement deal. Like it's more so like, what was some of the advice that you would give someone coming into the industry today?
You know, first and foremost, you know, I'm sure it's this way in most other companies as well, but I know it's here at Prime, most definitely. You know, listen to your instructors and your trainers. You know, they've been there, they've done it. You know, they know what you're about to go through. They see it day in and day out. And then as time goes on, you know, I mean, talk to your more experienced drivers as much as you can. You know, pick their brain. You know, ask them, hey, you know, what was it like when you did it? Just like tonight. I mean, most of what we talked about was what it was like coming, you know, up to where I'm at, and you know, talk to them and find
It's not
out.
our fault. That was a really long time.
Yeah, you know, hey, it's been a minute. It's been a minute.
It's
But,
not our
you know,
fault.
I mean,
This could have been like a 3-part series on
Get
what
as-
Thomas did.
get as much knowledge as you can from those folks. I mean, they're just, man, they're literally just little savings accounts of knowledge, you know, and they're just waiting, you know, and I mean, and the majority of them will be more than happy to share it with you.
Right.
You know, I mean, you're going to run across a couple of grumpy ones, you know, that's going to be like, you know, get away from me. But most part, you know, they're more than happy to share their story,
Right.
and listen to those folks. And you know, some drivers will advise against this, but I say listen to the in-house folks, you know, wherever you're at. You know, your fleet managers, your safety directors, and stuff like that, because they may not have been out there in a truck, but they're seeing just as much coming back into the terminal as well.
Right.
You know, I mean, they can provide you with incredible feedback because they may not have experienced themselves, but they've damn near seen it. They've seen it done.
They've seen
Right.
the
You know,
pictures.
so I mean, they're just a wealth of knowledge, and hopefully, you know, sorry, this is going to sound like a little suck ass part of it. Hopefully, you go to work someplace that's got an owner like Prime Incorporated does.
Shout out to Robert.
You know, Robert Lowe is an incredible boss, owner of the company. Drove himself for many years, and I'm telling you right now, man, you could go on vacation with that man for a week, and you ain't even going to scratch the surface of the amount of knowledge that man's got in his head. You know,
I would just say
and
just
so-
partying with him would just be one. I would assume would be exhausting. Like,
Yes, continue. I can say I have had that good fortune, and
I'm still waiting for the invite to the housewarming.
I'm just-
I know, Robert. Come on, man.
I'm just gonna let you know if you go drinking with a boss,
Mhm.
put on your big boy pants, you know, because he's going to make you look silly. I'm just saying, and but he's just a great guy, and I hope everybody has it at the companies that they ultimately end up going to work with.
Honestly, I think that any company that I would give because I mean, there's great companies out there. Like, not to say that a company that has a big time corporate structure is going to be bad, but what I say is this: try to find a company that has a owner operator that was a driver, that knows what the driver, because that's where you're going to be treated the best.
Yes.
And I would say that from Prime. When I went to Fry Miller, it was close to the same, and it was Fry Miller. I thought too until I went there, and the guy came in there. He's like, "Hey, my name is Fry Miller."
I swear to you, I always thought it was Fred Miller. All right. Anyway, sorry.
That's what I thought too. Like I said, until the heat and the dude. And I always say this about Fry Miller, like it was crazy that the time that I was there, which wasn't very long, I came back very quickly because I realized that I should have never left Prime. But yeah, it was concrete. It was green colored freaking concrete. But it was not uncommon for him, and this dude is in his 70s. It was not uncommon for him to jump into a truck, grab a load, and go out to California. And he would go out to California, he would deliver, and this dude would be parked next to you. And so like you deliver and you look over there and hey, there's the owner of the company. And you're like, shit, let me put my shirt back on.
I think Rob would have to go through the program again, wouldn't he?
You know, you'd be very surprised because about 5 years ago, Mr. Lowe actually drove in the truck driving championships at Prime.
Yeah.
And came in fourth. You know, so
He came in fourth.
oh, he came.
I came in ninth.
You know, well, I rode with him in the truck, and
well, now he's cheating.
no, because legitimately, he wouldn't let me tell him when to turn or to steer or anything else like that.
Right.
The only thing I was in the truck for was to tell him what, because of course he wasn't there for the walk around, so he didn't know what the course was. And so I rode with him just to tell him what the problem was coming up. Okay, you know, you gotta get this tire close to this, da 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 da. He legit came in fourth on his own. He hadn't been in the truck in 10 years at that point. And so I'm sitting here going, all right, you know, hey,
I'm expecting to see you this year.
I'm just kind of like,
This year.
you know, I got nothing else to say at that point.
You imagine like if you're because we're probably it's a multi-billion-dollar company.
Yeah.
You imagine going to the truck driving championships and like, hey, they're like, and Robert Lowe of Prime Incorporated.
Well, I mean, I'm sitting here going, you know, I mean, there was like 75 of us out there that year. And I'm like, holy cow, the guy hasn't touched a truck in 10 years and he just smoked 71 people. It's like, what? I don't even want to compete against you because I was one of them.
Right.
I came in like 7th or 8th. I mean, I got smoked mine too. So I'm sitting there going, I don't even go back to your office, dog.
It's like, go there. You and Wiki go back over to where y'all hang out.
Y'all can't come play. No, this is our playground. You go back. You find your own. You know, but yeah, he can still do it. He can still do it if he wanted to.
When you go to a company, though, try to find a company that you're happy with. Go to a company that has an owner operator that really cares about you, and that's a big one, especially morale. It's like if you have to wake up every morning and you hate going to the job of what you are. I mean, don't stay there.
And that's that's not even a plug for Prime. That's any company you choose. I mean, it's Prime for everybody. No.
Right.
I mean, I'll be the first one to admit. Is it for me? Yeah. I mean, obviously, I've been here freaking forever. But, you know, it's not for everyone. And Fry Miller is not for everyone and stuff like that. But, I mean, I'm sure Fry Miller's got people there's been there since they opened their doors.
They have a dude that was over there that was called, what was his name was Big John. And this dude, because this dude was 7'2".
We got a driver beat.
Oh no, we have him beat now.
We got that 22 fall.
We have someone beat now. But the thing was, whenever I met Big John, I was like, oh crap! I don't normally have to look up to anybody. And I looked down like, good God, man! And he drove a 579, and they took the cabinet out back behind him. He had a full custom cab.
How stupid crazy is that?
Pushed him back, and like he was comfortable in that truck. And I think, wow, dude,
that is crazy.
But this job really takes all kinds.
Just find that company, you know, and find you know, find your family. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, you know, a lot of people like to say that, oh, this place isn't about family, this place is that family, you know, whatever. You know, for me, all I can do is speak about personally. You know, Prime is a second family to me.
Right.
You know, I've built so many great relationships over there over the years and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, I just met you a few years ago, and I consider us, you know, friends. And you know, I mean, I'm sure you know me. I mean, by the way, this will be my last time. One-time appearance or this over here. You know, Justin over here. You know, I mean, we hit it off pretty quick. I think.
Yeah.
You know, flatbed. There it is. You know, I mean, you know, we're on cue.
It's just OCD.
You know,
No.
but I mean, you know, it really is. It is a family. I mean, and I mean, even though we've all only known each other a few years, I mean, there ain't nothing I wouldn't do for either one of you guys. And
it's like it's the same thing. If anything coming out of, and this is a lot of people from the military can only understand it. This is in coming out of the military. I went into a paramilitary organization to where it was supposed to have been the same thing, and it wasn't. And coming over to Prime, like that was where I found the same camaraderie that I had when I was back in the Navy. 9 years of that, like the type of brotherhood that you could end up meeting somebody like within a couple, like knowing them or meeting them for like literally like 20 minutes or 20, 30 minutes, and you have a camaraderie, a brotherhood that is really very deep. That's the only thing of what I've found here that I could be like, okay, I found a home.
Yep.
And I was bad. I went to another home, and that home sucked, so I came back. It was only 2 weeks.
It was the
You
same
went to the foster home for a little while, and like, okay, you don't know.
I did, because I thought that it was better, and it wasn't. They had shiny trucks.
Well,
they didn't go nowhere.
Well, and saying it's family, it really is like family. Like, for instance, everybody at Prime has watched both of my girls grow up.
Mm.
And for example, the first big Prime dinner party that my youngest daughter was able to go to, because her age, but she got to go to the Highway Diamond Gala this year. Mm. And whenever we got there and stuff like that, Mr. Lowe saw her, and he's all like, "Hey, Thomas, how you doing?" He grabs her and gives her a great big huge hug. Like, kiddo, it's great to see you. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, and it's just stuff like that. I mean,
right.
He sees my daughter, once a year, once every 2 or 3 years, stuff like that, but knew who she was the second she came in the door.
Right.
And called her by name.
Very good at that.
And so and a lot of the other people in management the same way. Dave White, down in safety, great friends.
Right.
Him and I we hit it off instantly and have been really good friends.
Sean thinks he doesn't like it.
Huh?
Sean thinks Dave doesn't like it.
Why?
I don't know. You've said it before.
When I said,
I don't think Dave White likes me. Well, hell, at Midget, we ran into Dave at Midget.
You can drink a Bloody Mary with you and you'll be best friends.
I don't drink anymore.
Well, that's why people don't like you, Sean.
You don't like the drinking Sean. I'm telling you, you don't like drinking Sean.
Well, apparently they all do because they don't like you.
No, drinking Sean does bad things. But it's
a family, big time.
Which was where we went to the micro wrestling or the dwarf wrestling, and Dave White was there. We're like,
Is that Dave?
That Dave. And he shows up and he's like, "Yeah, I love these things." Like, all right, midget wrestling.
All right then.
You've never been to Midget wrestling?
Not with Dave.
Well, neither. Like, it's not like we went with Dave.
We
just happened
to be there.
But if you've never been, you should go, my friend.
Yes,
it is a good time.
It was. We went last
night.
If
we would have known, right? We would have last night.
We were at one that went to last night.
Is that the one where that dude landed on your head?
Yeah, last night. That happened last night.
Oh my god!
Landed on his head. Yeah. Took a chair shot.
I saw a video of a guy. This little man just come flying up out the ring and landed on him.
Yeah. Well, he landed on the other little guy.
Yeah, the little guy that was in front of him. Yeah. So that was.
He didn't just jump at me, bro. Like, it wasn't like.
Oh. Well, he jumped at everybody.
Well, they were towards the end of the mat or the end of the night whenever they picked up Mario over the top of his head. Like, I was thinking.
Like,
I was really thinking like, I'm ready to catch this. I'm ready to catch him, man.
I got you. Come here, little buddy.
And all I can see is Mario.
Bro, I dropped my cup. Man. I dropped my cup. Let's get it.
I got you, boy.
But anyway,
you got some.
Let's catch up on a little bit of these.
Here, so.
Right before we bounce out of here, let's look up here.
Yeah, we still got more questions.
Says thanks, fellas, or thanks, y'all. They make you take a Class C again, even if your Class C is good to go now, along with general knowledge, air brake, and combination. Oh,
you should be taking tanker too, bro.
Well, that's all the FMCSA's new laws or the new deals. Like, if you're going to go into an enhancement, you have to go through everything with that enhancement now.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. You got to take a class on tanker before.
Note to self for all your old timers:
don't let it lapse.
Never let your CDL
go. And you enjoy what you do, Thomas. Absolutely nothing wrong with that.
I do. Thank you, Timothy. I do it a lot.
I was a craft dealer here in Vegas for 25 years, and I hated it.
Well, it's because you was always giving money away.
Exactly. Like, that's gonna suck.
That's gonna feel good. It's somebody else's money. It's not yours.
Hold on. I say no. I loved working in Vegas on the strip. Made a lot of money, but he hated it. Like,
well, there's that silver.
Different dude.
There's that silver lining.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, that's John Gonzalez.
Yeah, that's two different.
That's
people.
Gonzalez. How well working in Vegas? He worked on the strip. What were you doing on the strip, man? If you making that kind of money,
you get tips and stuff, man. Especially if you work on big tables.
I couldn't stand it.
So good.
Was it some people just hate Vegas? Yeah, and Timmy lives there. They don't move.
He's still there.
Did you work on the strip as a junior, or did you work as a strip?
I got a lot of. I got out of dealing 3 years ago. I haven't been in a casino since. See, that's good that you.
We need your help, man. Hashtag get Team Turbo.
What?
into Prime.
Yeah, Timmy Turbo's
His
the
recruiter refuses to
Talk
hire
to
him.
him.
What the hell you want me to do?
Well connected through the service of the years.
Yeah, man.
Hashtag get Timmy Turbo in.
I get him a job at Peterbilt, but not at Prime.
No, we need him here at Prime. He needs to come to the Springfield terminal.
Wait, Justin can train him.
He needs to get on O's truck.
Oh,
Because that would be a blast.
because that means he's got to reapply again.
Bro, could you imagine Timmy with Tim? But bro,
No.
like, that would be
Why
hilarious.
do I feel my job's in jeopardy with us just talking?
I worked on the strip as a union iron
Pissed
worker.
off his recruiter.
Okay,
So-
he worked on the strip as a union iron worker, structural steel hand, and I said I loved it. He's a steel hand.
Well, you weren't dealing. Like,
Yeah.
You weren't in the casino being like, hey,
He was building the
shake
casino.
up the, here's my
You
little stick.
didn't have 500 people a day going, you screwed me.
Exactly. Come on, you didn't count the dice right. But
I'll take one from the top.
I will say this, and this is towards the end of it, but I would say that obviously this is more so like very rarely we get to have someone with this amount of knowledge. But I personally think that he needs to do a YouTube. So this is
Yes, Justin needs to do YouTube.
no. Justin knows he needs to do a YouTube.
See,
That's a whole other
see
deal.
the fingers that way.
Thomas,
I
needs
just
to do a
did.
YouTube.
I just did.
He did.
I just did.
No,
He
Thomas
was
needs
here.
to get his own page and just put out some of this knowledge, man. Hashtag
See, if I
get
go
Thomas a YouTube
But see,
page.
then if I do all that, then I can't be the guest on other people's.
Sure you can.
So
I'm a guest on someone
I would
else's
say-
channel.
I would say YouTube. He needs to do a YouTube tour.
Yeah, and then do his own.
Just tour other
There's some
people's.
YouTubers that don't like me.
That's
There's
okay.
other people that don't like
That you see like,
it.
you know, layers.
Okay, there are some YouTubers kind of.
There's a lot of people. Look,
He
there's
said
a
people
lot of-
don't
there's a
like
lot
it
of
when you take in their money.
That's right.
There's a lot of employees, YouTubers that don't like me either. That's all right.
All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here.
Wait,
though.
no.
What for? What?
We have to ask. Like it was one of the questions you wanted to ask. We have to ask the old
What?
school guy. What do you think of 18-year-olds driving trucks?
Oh, that's a good point. That's gonna take
Where
another
is
30
your
minutes.
phone, Mr. Miller? Sitting right in front of me,
It's not doing anything.
but it's muted
It's
because
muted.
and she says, "How long is this show, sir?"
Oh, it's about to end, but it
You know,
says last question.
you can leave your
A lot longer than
comments.
normal.
You can leave your comments right down here in the corner.
They can't see that.
Okay, comments, questions, concerns. Hit the little dinger. Like
Hit the little dinger.
something.
Saved by the
What was the
bell.
question?
So, what do you
How do you
think
feel
about
about
the
18-year-olds?
18-year-olds?
18-year-olds. I actually embrace the idea.
Mhm.
And here is the reason why. I do live in Illinois, which is majorly an agricultural state.
Mhm.
And I see 18-year-olds, they can haul grain up and down the interstates and stuff like that all over the state of Illinois. We have kids in my hometown of 1,800 people that can load up a grain truck and take off down the road weighing 80,000 pounds, haul that grain all the way to Decatur, over to ADM, all the way up to Chicago to the ethanol plants and stuff like that. But he cannot cross the river into St. Louis.
That makes sense. So, yeah, I get you.
And so I'm just kind of like, okay, so this kid can travel all over the state, but he can't, and that's the big thing about the 18-year-old deal is we have so many cities in this country. You have St. Louis and East St. Louis.
Mhm.
The only thing that separates it is a river. Kansas City, Missouri, Kansas City, Kansas.
Right.
It's a river. Literally Cincinnati.
Mhm.
And down there in Kentucky, it's a river. These kids, they can drive all over Cincinnati, but by God, you better not cross that river. It
Right.
just doesn't make any sense.
Nope.
And so I feel that if an 18-year-old, quite honestly, is safe enough to travel over an entire state, hauling just as heavy a freight as we do and stuff like that every day, I don't see the reason why they can't cross a river. Now, with that said, the program as it's set and stuff like that, they're going to have a very extended training time and mentorship going on. And so I think it's 2 years that they got to have somebody, they got to go with somebody before they can cross anyway, or something like that. I can't remember exactly. It's a very lengthy time.
My personal opinion, this is like, if you're 18 years old, you're just getting out of high school. I think that you're still very much moldable. It is a lot easier, I believe, to put ideas into an 18-year-old's head as it is to put into somebody who is 45, 50.
Right.
So I think that this is something that I think could push because what's the average age of a truck driver right now?
I'm not sure.
I would say I would suffice it to say it's probably not in it's probably high 30s, 40s.
Yeah, I mean, up until just 2 years ago, it was up into the 50s.
So,
There's a lot of those that have left, the industry. But I mean, yeah, I feel they're going to be just, the other thing too that it allows it to do is you take, for instance, you go to high school on career day, you see everything in there from the son from, going to, push a tush strip club to freaking the Army and everything else, but you don't see the trucking industry. Why? Because, they got to wait 3 more years to even come and talk to us about a job, which is absolutely ridiculous. We are losing out on, quite honestly, as an industry, we're losing out on a ton of talent because they go and look at other fields and don't even consider us.
Right.
And by the time they get to be 21, a lot of them are already on their way.
You can go sign up for the military and drive a truck and drive bigger trucks into countries that will blow you up, but you can't do it in the United States.
Exactly.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that just doesn't make sense.
And like I said, on an industry standpoint of it, we lose, I feel, a lot of really good talent.
And
they're on the way out. I think that they ran out of vodka. So
that's my fan club.
That's the thing with the industry though, is that they don't set the like you said, you can get into, think about all the things you trust these kids to do at the age of 18, but all of a sudden being in a truck, that's just a no. I mean, you know what I mean? Like dude, you think that?
But that's quite honestly, I mean,
they can wire your house.
Regardless of where you fall on the political spectrum, that's just how stupid our government is in general.
Right.
I mean, we've got this kid, which, I mean, everybody has an argument for it and stuff like that. But, I mean, we'll take a kid like Sean just said that can go and drive a truck all over the place in foreign countries, stuff like that, get shot at, blown up, everything else, deliver everything that we do and then some, and nuclear warheads. Oh, hey, what are you hauling? I got a couple nukes back there.
Yep.
What the hell? We don't do that. And so they run around and they do all that stuff. But then they come home and, well, excuse me, they can't buy a pack of cigarettes. They can't buy a beer.
Nope.
Hell, they can't buy vape juice.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much stuff that they can't do. They can't drive a truck. I'm sitting there going, okay, you know what? Just the other day, Johnny Five was shooting missiles out of his little big hole at this guy. But by God, you can't haul no fish sticks today.
Exactly. No,
you
can be in charge.
Like,
you can be on the flight deck of an aircraft carrier in charge of a $13 million piece of equipment but you can't come back over here and haul grain.
To be fair, most of those
damn.
damn.
Hold on.
Timmy knew what it said.
Thomas,
wasn't even Tim.
It says Thomas should replace Sean, just my opinion. Thomas for permanent host. Look here, you Tyrannosaurus wearing, guns not properly mounted and secured, flatbed skateboarding, mother
FBG.
Hey, David, check your Venmo. It'll be there in a minute.
Better check your tires.
Damn.
But with that said, I think the 18-year-old program, I think it's better than it's getting around for.
Trucking is the only industry that they can't get into.
Oh no, you don't get to put hearts on now, motherfucker. Nope, that's not how the cookie crumbles. We're coming for you. So yeah,
what this wee shit is. You got a mouse in
there. Hey, you better fucking ride, homie.
I ain't running. That's FBG, dog. And again, I'm just a sideshow here. So
then all of a sudden, I got
whoever hosted it.
But anyway, guys, hey, we appreciate all the information what you put out, Thomas. I appreciate you coming out. Justin, I could do without, so whatever.
Thank you, guys. Thank you guys for doing this, and well, for one, allowing me to share my story, and two, just doing your channel the way you do things, because I don't watch it all the time, but the last couple of times I've watched it, I have enjoyed it, and it's a great way to get information out there. And so thank you guys for doing this.
I will say
ride again.
September 10th, American Legion, Post 639. It's over on South Scenic Avenue in Springfield, Missouri.
Come show up, and Primetime Fitz and probably Justin will sign something.
Hey, I tell you what, I'll make a deal with you. Everybody that shows up to Sam's ride on the 10th, I'll give you directions to the one on the 17th. There we go.
Yeah, right. Yeah, what a prize!
I will give you directions to the one that's for the following week as well.
So, I would say this, guys. Hey, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, share this out here because, like I said, this is a lot of information. Share it on your guys' social media platforms, especially this episode. I don't care if you don't do any of the other episodes. I really don't. But this one here, it's like get some of this information out for some people, especially people that are coming into the industry that want to know information about the industry. Do that for me, guys. Appreciate it very much. We will see you guys next week, and we'll definitely try to get Thomas out here eventually. We'll see what's going to go on because now apparently he's going to try to get some royalties. So he's going to be charging. So we're going to see how that's going to go. But bye-bye.
Pay him?
He's on.
I'm
He
just gonna
said he want to get paid.
I'm just gonna sell tickets. Is all I want.
Deuces.
I better get paid. That's all I know.